This is Eyewitness News at 5. Coverage you can count on.
This is a live look in Orlando where all day long thousands are paying their respects to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Today marks 1 year since 49 people were gunned down inside the nightclub. Police say gunman Omar Mateen pledged allegiance to the Islamic State during that attack. After a 3-hour standoff, he was killed in a shootout with police. A year later, the pain is still raw for families of those 49 victims.
Many of them hoping, though, to keep the memories of their loved ones alive. Kristen Holmes begins our coverage.
Hundreds gathering outside Pulse nightclub Monday to honor those killed 1 year ago. The names of each of the 49 victims read aloud. Just one of several events in Orlando and across the country for Orlando United Day. Officials urging people to engage in acts of love and kindness. While the community rallies together in support for so many of those impacted, the road to recovery has just begun.
People ask me all the time, like, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel since this has happened?
Patience Carter continues to heal. The NYU student and 2 of her friends were on vacation when they decided to go to Pulse nightclub.
It literally was the time of our lives. Like, we were so excited, and then boom, the gunshots start.
Carter shot in both legs, a bullet shattering her femur. Her friend Akira Murray lost her life when 29-year-old Omar Mateen opened fire in the club, holding hostages for hours before being shot and killed by police, committing the worst mass shooting in American history. The Pulse nightclub now being transformed into a permanent memorial.
My heart goes out to these families, but thank God we have a resilient community.
A community that promises to never forget what happened here 1 year ago.
I still got a lot of fight left in me.
Reporting in Orlando, I'm Kristen Holmes.
And our Alicia Turner is also in Orlando getting a first-hand look at the memorials and talking to families affected by this tragedy.
Alicia, a lot of strong emotions there today.
That's right, Julie. Very mixed emotions. You have some people in the community excited to see people rally around those who have been affected by this tragedy, but you also have the families of those who've been impacted, and they say it's a day they wish they never had to endure.
White angels line the street outside of Pulse nightclub, each of them carrying a candle, all of them representing the 49. The 49 people killed in one of the deadliest attacks in recent history.
Nobody should ever have to get a call saying you got to bury your child or your grandchild. And for the reason that they died is what makes it even that more, it's just emotional.
Emotional because Veronette is one of the people that got that call.
I wouldn't answer my phone because I said, no, that's not her. That's not her. I went online that night and they had 10 names already listed. I went back online 7 o'clock that morning and her name appeared.
Her name, Dianca Drayton. Dianca was Veronette's niece. She was 32.
She was full of life. She was full of love. She was full of joy. She loved her family. She loved her friends.
Despite the vibrant memories, Veronette says looking at her niece's picture on a memorial is still one of the hardest things to do.
We got to live with this loss, and that's what makes this so hard. Her grandmother sitting over there can't even walk over here.
Approaching an anniversary can be almost more difficult than the actual anniversary date. And the ripple effects, the triggers that pop up in surprising ways.
Regina Robinson is one of dozens of therapists on scene to help family and friends cope.
How important are memorials like this?
Extremely important because they bring people together. The pain of loss is healed with connection. And being able to talk to people, feel the warmth, feel the hugs, share the pain, and not feel like you have to keep it in. Rituals like this are hugely important to healing.
Healing that Veronette says will take a lifetime, but she finds peace knowing that no one is letting the death of the 49 be in vain.
Their stories are going to live forever now. Everything that they had to run from is now going to live forever, and there ain't nothing nobody can do about that.
Memories carried through family, friends, and an entire nation.
Now, there have been a lot of celebrations and memorials all day, and there will continue throughout this evening, including one right here at Lake Eola in Orlando, starting at 7 o'clock. Victims or family members and friends coming out, and the entire community to honor everything that has happened here.
All right, Alicia, we'll look to hear from you not only later tonight, but at 5:30 and 6 as well. Thank you.
Tallahassee police still searching for answers after a double fatal shooting late Saturday night on Tyson Green Way.
The victims identified as 17-year-old Nakenya Richardson and 26-year-old Shamari Fuller. It's the latest in a string of shootings across the capital city this year. Marielle Carbone is taking a closer look at these crimes. Marielle?
Julie Eden, earlier this morning I put in a public records request for all of the incidents involving shootings that injured or killed someone here in Tallahassee in this year, 2017. We're still waiting on those numbers, but based on our coverage, there's been at least a dozen shootings here that involved shots fired, and residents are saying that something needs to change.
It happens every time you turn on the news, somebody else has gotten shot.
A fatal in February at Springfield Apartments. A man killed on Brook Street in April. And 2 people dead Saturday.
It's scary. You don't even feel safe out anymore.
And the list continues. The circumstances all different, but residents taking notice. One person on Facebook says just about every day someone is shot or found dead. Others blaming local leadership, saying this falls on the police chief and ultimately the mayor.
When a life is lost, it's a tragedy for all of us, and there's nothing political about that.
Commissioner Curtis Richardson calls the recent shootings troubling, but says there's not just one way to solve the problem.
We can't police our way out of this situation. We've got to get neighbors involved. We've got to get businesses involved.
He points to the city's growth, unemployment, and the summer months as potential causes.
This affects our entire community.
To combat crime, the Tallahassee Police Department says it's increasing community policing and hiring more officers. But putting a stop to incidents like shootings doesn't end with them.
We have said over the long haul that we are not going to be able to arrest our way out of any of the problems that we see within our city, just like we see in all cities. That is a community partnership, and we are going to work with our community partners.
A responsibility some residents agree with.
The community can always work together. If you see someone struggling or falling into a criminal lifestyle, talk to them.
Eden, I did reach out to the mayor's office. The mayor was not available for comment today, but Commissioner Curtis Richardson says that this very topic was a big one last night at the longest table. Reporting live from the Governor's Club, Marielle Carbone, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Marielle, thanks for that report. And we want to turn to our weather now. A live look outside, and this pretty much says it for our Monday.
Rainy days and
gloomy
Mondays.
Out there.
Got me down.
We had some sun. When was it? Friday. It was so sunny and nice, and then it's kind of been downhill ever since. We're back to the rain, Mike.
Well, we certainly had more clouds than sunshine kind of starting the weekend and continuing today. There's been a little bit here and there, but still, we just can't seem to hold on to that typical summery pattern with a little more morning sunshine. In the grand scheme of things, that's better than having 5 days of 100-degree temperatures and full sunshine. So we're just kind of at the other end, though, where it stays kind of cloudy and stays kind of showery. Keeping the temperatures down, but it's keeping it showery. There you see, not super heavy stuff, but a good scattering across South Georgia and not too much across North Florida. You had some showers around earlier, and the movement, tough to pick out. Maybe just a little drift toward the west, but it's very, very slow, which means if you're underneath one of these showers, you might pick up, ½ inch to maybe even an inch of rainfall, whereas 5 miles down the road, you get nothing. But the overall air mass just hasn't shown any signs of changing a lot. There'll be some minor changes. We've got some light rain down toward the coast, but look out over the Gulf. There's still lots of moisture down here. We've got some more showers down over the peninsula. It's more or less stuck for a couple of days. But then it will gradually get back to more of a typical pattern, but it's going to take a while. I'll explain in a few more minutes.
Yeah, let's hope we can work this all out during the work week.
Well, that's a good point. Get it over with right now. Thanks, Mike.
And still to come on Eyewitness News at 5, it was one of the few ways that people could help after the Pulse shooting, donating blood.
Thousands poured into donation centers in the wake of the attack. Coming up, we look at the impact on blood supplies 1 year later, and we want to check in with Kenny.
Eden and Julie, you might notice Florida State fans a little happier than usual this week. That's because the Noles baseball team is Omaha bound for the College World Series. We'll hear from head coach Mike Martin on the Noles' big win coming up in just a bit.